Good day, everyone. This is Lowell Moore, school counselor with Florida Virtual School with another of our College Hub admissions recordings. Today we have with us Timothy Ryan from Argosy University. Argosy University is well known for offering online degree programs at the college level, and so we're very excited to have Timothy here to talk with us about Argosy University, what the college is like, and what types of degrees they offer. So without any further ado, I'll hand the mic over to Timothy. Timothy, tell us about Argosy University, if you will, please.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Moore. It's definitely a pleasure. I know that Florida Virtual School has a very rich tradition in terms of its longevity and the size that it now has. So I know that I'm reaching out to a lot of people, so I'm very happy to be working with such a great high school institution and every other grade level that it works with. Again, my name is Timothy Ryan, and I'm speaking from the online offices in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for Argosy University online programs. We have also a rich history with over 45 years of experience on focusing on real-world skills and knowledge. Today, I want to go over Argosy University a little bit so you can understand exactly what we have to offer and what our school is about, so you can make a decision if this is something that might be the right fit that you want to learn a little bit more about that could potentially be an option for you. At the end, you'll see that there's a website at the end of the presentation. I'll also make sure that information gets out to your guidance counselors so you have a way to contact somebody that knows that you're in high school and you just want to explore some more of your options and have a conversation about what your goals are. So that way you can figure out a little bit more about what type of path you want to do after high school. So we'll begin by talking a little bit about Argosy University and exactly what it is and how this school came to be. Now, Argosy University is part of a network of national schools. We have 19 campuses throughout the United States and our online division. Argosy University as a whole has actually earned the distinction of supporting one of the largest graduate student communities in the nation with their master and doctorate programs. Now, what does it exactly mean for you to know that we have an online division and campus support? That means that online students can visit any one of the campuses across the country to use the resources. Additionally, when you graduate, there's an actual campus that you can choose from to go for your graduation ceremony. Now, Argosy University began with a combination of 3 schools with 3 distinct areas of educational focus back in 2001. The 45 years of experience that I alluded to before can be traced through the American Schools of Professional Psychology, the Medical Institute of Minnesota, and the University of Sarasota in Florida. Those 3 schools combined to create Argosy University, and they focus on 4 academic program areas: education, business, health sciences, and psychology. The online programs specifically focus on psychology, business, criminal justice, and the liberal arts area in the undergraduate level. Argosy University, the online division, is run out of our Phoenix, Arizona campus, which was founded in 1991 and currently has a population of 985 students. We first went online in 2006, so we made the jump from just a campus base to also adding degrees that are 100% online. But what's important, the thing that's most important for you as a student is that you know, no matter where you go and you're moving throughout the country, as an online student, you'll always know that there's a presence somewhere in the country from Argosy University with current students and with alumni. So now I've talked a little bit about exactly Argosy University and the history and the background, but what you probably are interested in is what can I actually learn here? I want to know more about the degree. What exactly are the areas that we study? So as you can see, there's the 4 degrees that I mentioned. There's business, psychology, criminal justice, and liberal arts. Liberal arts is the only degree that's only at the bachelor's level. Business, psychology, and liberal arts are degrees that you can do at the associate and the bachelor level. Now, what's important and what makes Argosy University unique is the time and energy that we put into our concentrations. So not only do you graduate with just this degree, but you can actually say to somebody in an interview or looking for a job that, hey, not only do I have this one degree, but I specifically focused in an area of study. With criminal justice, you actually can take 2 of the concentrations. So you can tell someone, for example, of criminal justice, I focused in police and I focused in homeland security. Now, this is a great time that if you're listening, I'll pause for a few seconds because you might want to write these down because this is a great starting point for you to ask somebody in the admissions department to explain what exactly are the classes in this? What exactly are the areas of work that can come from going in this area? So this is an area that you can make very unique to you, and I really would like you to write stuff down for any type of conversation that you would want to have to learn more. Now, the other thing that's very important that I want to go over is Argosy University online programs has regional accreditation by the Accrediting Commission for Senior Colleges and Universities of the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. It is authorized for operation as a post-secondary educational institution by the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. Now, that might be confusing what that all means, but it's really important because as schools continue to go online with their degree programs, you might hear of a school that you've never heard of before, and you might want to know, how do I know that my degree is going to be recognized? If you have regional accreditation as a university, it means that you're meeting the standards set forth by the Department of Education. So just like the Florida Virtual School, you guys have gone out and got regional accreditation, making sure that you're meeting a standard of education level. So that way, if somebody from one area of the country doesn't know or hasn't heard of your school, they can look it up and prove the authenticity of the program that you went to. But now that we've gone over that, let's look a little bit more in depth at each degree so you can understand a little bit more than just the concentration. First off, we'll start with the liberal arts degree. The liberal arts, again, you can only get as a bachelor's. And this program offers an integrative approach to learning which aims to develop competencies in the basic academic areas and disciplines in higher education. It incorporates courses that develop the individual, preparing them for the workplace and to participate constructively in a global society. Now, as you'll see here, examples of the classes: organizational communication and sociological perspectives on class, ethnicity, and gender. We really focus on your career skill sets that you'll be able to get from these classes, as you can see here. This is the type of degree that if you want to get an area of every aspect of just college, you want to get classes in business, you want to get them in psychology, you want to get them in criminal justice, you're not exactly quite sure, this is a great degree for you. Or if you choose to go somewhere else and maybe you don't finish there and you got a collection of credits, maybe this is the degree that you want to get because you just want to cap that off and get a finished, accomplished piece of work at the post-secondary level. One of our other degrees that we offer is the psychology degree, which is at the bachelor and associate degree level. Now for this one, think to yourself, are you a good listener? Do you pride yourself on your people skills? Do you have the desire to make a difference in the lives of others? Because if that's the case, then this is the degree you might be wanting to look at. This one has classes such as child and adolescent psychology and abnormal psychology. This is actually one of my favorite degrees. I got my bachelor's degree in psychology, so I really enjoy this. And as you can see, psychology is, as my father used to call, a springboard for careers. So the career paths go in all different areas. Academic advising, which is something I currently do, even going into career advising, all the way to child care worker, to case management, to counseling, to employee relations specialist. Now what's really important with psychology, and it is to note, is that whenever you're in the psychology degree, each state has specific laws for what you can and can't do with psychology. So again, another great starting point that if you're looking for this is to get in touch with our admissions staff, and we can tell you a little bit about where the resources are that you can get in touch with for your state, for what you're allowed to do with a bachelor's degree in psychology, and what you might want to move on and potentially go for a master's or even a doctorate, depending on what your goals are. But we can help you understand that because we know some of the ideas of what type of education you need to get in order to go down a certain path in psychology. So again, we're definitely here to help you, and that's what we work on, is what type of conversation can we have with a potential student in high school to help them understand what they want to do. Now, another degree that we have here is the business degree, which is at the bachelor's and associate's level. Now, if you want a strong foundation in business leadership, problem solving, and management techniques, then you'll want to consider this degree, because this degree is ideal for individuals who wish to begin a career in areas that include nonprofits, corporations, public administration, or even owning your own business. That also includes the career path of just general accounting, finance, human resource management, and marketing. And some of the two of the classes that you can see here are project management and managing people for performance. Finally, we have the criminal justice degree. The criminal justice degree program is designed to instill knowledge, skills, and ethical values in criminal justice practitioners. Our program is designed to provide you with enhanced critical thinking, communication, research, and professional skills designed to contribute to career development, promotional opportunities, and consideration for specialized assignments. And as you can see, criminal justice isn't just good or bad. That's why I specifically chose victimology and criminology to show as two of the classes you'll be taking. You'll be learning how to deal with a victim and also how to understand the mind of a criminal. So you can work in both areas, and that's why you can see in the career path, criminal investigations, corrections, legal assisting, a customs agent, or even a court administrator. So these degrees are all really good, but they all have a lot more in-depth than what I'm just showing you on this PowerPoint slide. So that's why it's so important to definitely speak to somebody that knows a little bit more about this, that can talk even better. I actually go to school here at Argosy University, so I absolutely love this school, and I worked in admissions before I started working specifically with high school relationships. And it was one of the best things in the world to learn about this, to learn more about these degree programs, and be able to talk to people about what they wanted to accomplish in their life, and be able to give them advice that actually had some meaning behind it. I wasn't just some neighbor saying something. I was actually a trained professional that was able to talk about these things in detail and even show them what type of websites that were associated with their state so they could figure out exactly what they might need in addition to the bachelor's degree, or what type of work experience would be great. So I can't say enough with having that initial conversation to just get your ideas together. So let's move on, though. And we'll talk about how Argosy University is specifically dedicated to your success. Now, the one thing is you guys have already been with the Florida Virtual School, so you know a lot about the online environment here. We like to do a few things to make sure that our classroom takes on a traditional life of its own. One, we have seasoned faculty members who provide personalized attention in a small class setting. So what that means to you, our professors, we like to give them, we like them to have about 5 years of work experience. And on top of that, they need to be trained to teach in an online environment. So we don't just take anybody that has already had teaching experience and say, okay, go into this online class. We need to make sure that they've passed our own training so we know that they know how to communicate effectively. Also, they have requirements for getting them back in touch with you in a timely manner. So they are being held accountable. But I won't lie, the faculty experience is one of the best things that I like about about going to school here at Argosy. I get a chance to actually talk to people that I'm doing a master's in management here at Argosy University. And the best thing is when I went to my undergraduate degree, when I went through my undergraduate degree, I worked with some professors that was what they did. As soon as they graduated their undergrad, they went to their master's, their doctorate, and then they went to teaching. That type of experience, you get somebody with a lot of academic knowledge, but the fact that we try to strive for that seasoned veteran experience in their field, it's unbelievably awesome to talk to them about things that I want to talk about since they can give me real life experience. And not only that, we have a student advisor throughout your experience. So you have an academic counselor and your admissions representative. And your admissions representative will stay with you after the admissions process. So you have somebody with even more experience from the academic side, and then the person that you befriended, the person that was here to help you through the admissions, will stick with you and really give you the nuances about our technology to make sure that you're okay. Now, moving on, some of the other things about Argosy University, I mentioned the small class sizes and speaking to the instructor at any time and receiving that feedback, but also our interface is extremely well done. So getting your assignments, your grades, I've never had an issue as a student. Personally, I like it. I go home, I have a desktop still. I know most people have laptops or iPads, but I love just going into my bedroom, getting on my desktop, closing the door, turning on the light, and just going to work. And I get kind of absorbed in it. And I love the fact that as long as you've got a good internet connection, you're really, the interface and the interaction with the website is amazing. And with your classmates, you're going to be able to interact with them. And I'll get into more of that in detail, but I personally, as a student, have exchanged my phone number with a lot of my classmates because I have the same class with them. So I talk to them on the phone besides emailing them. And I have a smartphone, which I don't know as you as a student if you have one, but it's amazing. I'll just text one of my classmates something real quick. So I don't feel any different going online here at Argosy than I did when I went to my undergraduate degree, which was on campus. But moving on, talking about making friends and everything. You're probably thinking a little bit, you know what, Tim sounds like you're making this sound really good, but I still don't understand how I get the friendship aspect besides this academic experience. We've created our own social network called Connections. Now, I'm not saying it's like Facebook or MySpace. There's definitely similarities, but they're obviously their own technology. We don't share. But definitely Connections brings that fun attitude with it, back to everything. Even you have hobbies, study groups, shopping, sports. It can all be part of Connections. So even though online you might be thinking, oh, I might not be able to play sports for a sport team for the online program, you can make a connection for your favorite sport team, find out who joins it. They might want to play, they might want to make up their own sport team with you. Now, obviously not an NCAA sanctioned one, but maybe just around the corner do a softball league or do something like a kickball league. There's different groups that you can create, and you'll find people mingling and interacting with the groups that you can create or finding ones that have already been created. But moving on past that, a little bit more about the academic side. We have here at Argosy University online programs a graduation team made up of 3 experts who I've already alluded to, your admissions and your academic counseling. You'll also have a financial aid advisor, which I'll get a little bit more into, a finance counselor, which I'll get a little bit more into detail about that later. But we also have online tutoring, which will provide instant assistance to students with questions or if they need help with things. We also have additional math and writing labs where you can get even more detailed work done with somebody supervising to help you. And then we have an online library with over 350 databases that I use a lot, and it's very easy to use to look for scholarly works to help you with your assignments. And finally, we have career services. The career services are amazing. Starting day one, you have a job search that we provide for you. So you're able to type in what type of degree you're working on, in what area, what zip code, what city you want to be looking for jobs that are affiliated with that. Halfway through your degree, your career advisor will get in touch with you, make sure that you're using those resources, because we also have a resume writing center, and we also belong to the Worldwide Professionals Network. So we're going to make sure at the halfway point that you are utilizing these if you haven't already. Because obviously going online, the biggest opportunity is you're able to go to work. You're able to get some type of work experience in your field. Ask my brother who's doing a bachelor's degree in psychology right now. He's currently realizing how important it is for him to start working as he's doing this so he can get work experience. So when he does graduate, he'll be able to move on into a really good job because of the fact that he has a degree with his work experience. Now we'll move on and we'll talk about the one last thing that's probably on everybody's mind is that everything that's so great, how exactly can you finance it? Argosy University does have some programs within, And we also take part in the federal financial aid program. So knowing that everybody has unique situations, given from their FAFSA results, given from, not even just from the FAFSA, but what else might be happening in their life. You'll have a finance counselor to talk to, and we can help you explore the different options that you might not even be aware of that might be helpful. And again, we do have our internal help as well. So you might even qualify for things that RDC only gives to their students. So thank you very much for attending. I'll hand it back over to Mr. Moore in case there's any additional questions. But I definitely would say that Argosy University, it might not be the best fit for everybody, but it deserves a chance to be looked at if you're thinking about trying to do something online, because it has so many great benefits. And the more you might ask and the more you might talk to somebody that's knowledgeable in the admissions department, you might find that it might be the best fit for you when you originally didn't think so. So thank you very much, Mr. Moore, for your time, and I'll take it over for you if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Timothy, for telling us about Argosy University and the online programs that are available there. I've got just a few additional questions that I think may be of interest to our listeners. You have talked about your student body and the size of the student body and that kind of thing. Can you give us any information about the average GPA of your entering freshmen, and then what type of testing is required? Do you require SATs and ACTs, and what might be the average test scores if those are required? What can you tell us along those lines?
You know what, that's a really great question. Currently, I just want to say, so currently right now, we have 16,948 undergraduate students in our online program. Now, what makes Argosy University so unique, and at first, when I first started working here at Argosy University, I didn't quite understand it until I realized how much more beneficial it was to be this way. Currently, we, with our SAT and our ACT scores, we do accept them if you already have that done. However, we take your transcripts, we take a look at them. If you have over a 2.0, we will look at accepting you into the program. And if you don't have your SAT or your ACT done, we actually have our own self-placement test. That would be in math and in the math and the English realms. So you would be able to do writing your math, and we would review that and see where exactly you place compared to where our classes are. Now, if you have under 2.0, what we do is you automatically have to take remedial classes. So if somebody comes here to Argosy University, you take remedial classes which aren't quite at the college level, and depending on how you do with those, we can reevaluate it and look at you becoming a student with the college level classes here at Argosy University. So what I love so much about it is the fact that we don't cut off anybody. Now, yes, there are standards that you need to meet, but we still give you a chance if you're not meeting those standards. And if you haven't paid yet to take that SAT or ACT, yes, we will accept the scores, but we have our own placement, so you can take that as well and save the money and see where you scored. And again, these scores would be exclusive for Argosy University, so I don't want to confuse anybody and think that they can take those tests and use those scores at other universities. But it definitely helps out, especially with today's economy. I'll take it back over to you.
Timothy, you had talked about the various bachelor's degree programs and even some of the graduate programs that are offered through Argosy University. I was wondering about students that might transfer in to Argosy to receive a bachelor's or a graduate degree. Do you accept students that have say 2-year degrees from community colleges, and how does that work with Argosy?
Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Moore, absolutely. We have, as of last year, we have currently 101 students that have transferred in from community colleges. And again, that's why we do offer the liberal arts degree, because we even have people that transfer over with even more than a 2-year degree, and maybe they just weren't happy. So again, that's where the benefit of the liberal arts degree comes into play. But we absolutely with open arms, and I would say it's because of our admissions department doing the unique conversations with everybody that we're able to help people that aren't necessarily cookie cut. We're not taking somebody that's just from one background, and that's why we give everybody the unique one-on-one attention to see what exactly their situation is and to talk to them to see how we can help.
Thanks very much, Timothy. In Florida Virtual School, about a third of our students are homeschool students, and so I wanted to ask about how Argosy University handles the admission of homeschool students, and do you currently have some students actually that are come from a homeschool background?
You know what? I was so happy that you were asking this question, because I feel homeschool students are misunderstood because the country, every state has different roles with homeschool students. Working in the admissions department before I started working with high school relations, every state has their own law with who you get your diploma from, where you get your transcripts from, do you graduate from the high school that you live in, do you graduate from the state department. There's so many different things, and we're so aware of that. And because of that, the one-on-one attention, I can't say enough. We offer here at Argosy during that initial phase, when you're talking to finance, academics, admissions, you can request a Skype if you want. We can do conference phone calls. We can do phone calls that are just regular, not conference. We want to get to the heart of the matter and see how we can help you. We know with homeschool students it can be tricky sometimes. From what I'm aware of from doing research with Florida Virtual, you guys have made it extremely, extremely easy for a homeschool student. But unfortunately, in other areas of the country, it's not as easy. And it's really hard to get their diplomas, to get their transcripts from the right people. So we give that one-on-one attention. When that phone hangs up, and we know that you're looking for serious, we'll even try to help on our own to help supplement your energy into trying to retrieve those transcripts. So I love the question, because apparently you guys do a great job, but unfortunately that isn't the way it is all across the country. So we love to give that extra attention to help out any homeschool students that want to continue on the post-secondary.
Thanks, Timothy. Yeah, we are very aware here in Florida, and particularly at Florida Virtual School, that things are different in other parts of the country. And we are able to provide an official transcript for a student. We are accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. You did a great job of talking about the importance of regional accreditation, and Argosy having that is just so important for students, perhaps more important than many students realize, and I had appreciated you sharing that information with us. Can you tell us where a lot of your students come from? Are they all over the country, or what states maybe are your primary states for Argosy?
Yeah, absolutely. And this data is current as of today, because as you know, as an online program, and even Florida, although you guys get the majority of your students there, I'm almost positive that you probably have students from outside the state, so it can always be changing. But when I most recently looked it up, our largest student populations were from Georgia, Texas, California, North Carolina, and Ohio. But I can tell you from working in admissions, the neatest thing, and this is what the internet has brought to education, international students. So you have the ability to have students from anywhere in the world that want a great degree from the United States. A college degree for the United States is not frowned upon across the world. So even though those are our largest states at this time, you have the potential of being in class with anybody from around the world.
That's great to know. And we do serve through our global school quite a number of students all over the world, and there'll be some students in various countries listening to this recording, and I'm very glad that you mentioned this. What's your most popular major? You told us what the majors were there at Argosy. What's the most popular of those majors?
Oh, it has to be the one that I went for. But in all seriousness, psychology is absolutely our most popular. Our most recent data, because again, it takes some time to collect after everything's been said and done. And as a teacher, Mr. Moore, you probably realize how data is always a little bit behind because it needs to be dissected and gathered and put into a format. So as of 2009, we had 124 graduates from our Bachelor in Psychology program. Now, we went online, I believe I told you that was back in 2007. So in a very short amount of time, we've already had people graduating from the online division in psychology, and the numbers were already reaching into the hundreds. So a lot of people want to get into psychology because it definitely is why I did it. There's a lot of helping other people involved with it. It's a degree that can really give a lot of satisfaction with the different type of jobs.
You had talked about earlier about assisting students with job placement, and that you do have a division that does that. Are you able to give us any percentages of your graduates that actually are employed in their chosen field after they graduate?
Absolutely. Now, our most recent data, again, is from 2009. The online programs, 100% of the available graduates in the Bachelor's of Business Administration were employed in their related fields. 87.1% of the available graduates in the Bachelor's of Psychology were employed in their related fields. Now, that sounds like absolutely great percentages, and I want you to know that's done without us offering work study or having a joint program for internships with corporate placement. I honestly feel that that's how good our career services are, that at the halfway point and when you graduate, you have somebody getting in contact and saying, hey, what have you done with your resume? Do you need us to do interviews, mock interviews? Do you need us to help you out with your interview skills? Have you been using our job search? Did you join the Worldwide Professionals Network to get in contact with other alumni? Because Argosy University, as I said, 45 years, our programs. So we have the services here that although we do not offer the work study or the internships, we provide you with so much other support that's why our statistics are still so high.
That's great to know, and we're glad that you folks there at Argosy are doing such a good job in that area. Timothy, that concludes our questions. I think you have covered all of the relevant information, and students that are interested in a degree from Argosy University online can find out more of the details as necessary. So I just want to give you one last opportunity. If there's some last words that you would like for our students to know, go ahead and go for it, and then we'll conclude our interview. Thanks so much.
Mr. Moore, you have me chuckling over here. I thought that you'd ask a little bit more about the finances that we help with. I did want to say that we currently have a student success grant, which can be awarded up to $2,660 per academic year for your first 2 years. Also, I've actually created the Jim Ryan Memorial Scholarship after my grandfather. That's why I wanted to talk about it. I really believe in Argosy University as a student and as somebody that works here. And for that reason, I created a $500 scholarship that's given out quarterly. I know there's a lot of students, but I can't afford too much more. But I definitely thought that this would be something that I just wanted to give back to the community that I'm getting such a great education for. But those aren't just the only things. It's not just the financial help that we have. We really help with trying to figure out what you want and what's going to be good for you. We're not afraid to tell you, hey, Argosy University isn't a good fit. but we sure aren't afraid to tell you, hey, this is a great fit. So definitely, I personally, when I was a junior in high school, was already accepted into college. I knew before my senior year where I was going, what I wanted to do. And honestly, I didn't get the time and attention that I got when I was going to a master's program here at Argosy. And looking back, I wish I would have had that experience. I wish I would have had somebody willing to do a 2-hour phone conversation or a Skype conversation with me and my parents. It's not that I don't regret anything, but that definitely would be a lot more beneficial, and that's what we can provide. And again, at the end, we won't be scared to say this isn't the best fit. But again, this phone conversation or Skype conversation might say that this is the best. So definitely thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait. I'd like to tell any school that we work with our high school students, I like to let their guidance counselors know so they can just be aware that somebody's trying to shoot for the stars. So I definitely can't wait to be able to get back in touch with you, Mr. Moore, and say that somebody is trying to currently look at Argosy in a little bit more detail. Thank you.
And thank you, Timothy. This has been another Florida Virtual School College Hub interview. Argosy University today. Thank you for being with us.